Sports News on Galactic Chower Radio. The information on this podcast is my opinion and some internet research. The sponsor of my stream and podcast is DistroKid. If you want 7% off on your first subscription with DistroKid, release your music to the world on every major music platform. Make sure to go to my website, andrewvanzark.com, and click on the discount link under the tab of DistroKid. Alrighty, hello, and welcome to Galactic Radio, scoring you the news and the headlines that matter. Now, you're listening with power, so let's get it. There is great news on the MLB world and on the NFL industries and so much more. So let's get ourselves acquainted here with all this stuff that we need to get ourselves acquainted with. And this is the one and only place to be right now here on Galactic Radio. So, there's great news to be acquainted with, and one of them is Ezekiel Elliott from Cowboys moving forward following team discipline situation. So remember, if you want to continue listening to all this kind of news all the time, you gotta go to the iOS or the Android store and download Galactic Radio. That'll be of a great help. So, what do I have here in stock with this? There's a lot of things to dive in with this, so Ezekiel Elliott didn't accompany the Cowboys to Atlanta for their game against the Falcons, but the veterans during running back joined his teammates at the Star on Monday, and it appears to be two-sided and are willing to move forward. Quoting here, will be available. Head coach Mike McCarthy said, he went through everything today, but we did not have a sit-down today. So, Elliott has missed several meetings this season, a situation that came to a head on Friday. So, both sides determined it was best for him to stay at home over the weekend, hit the reset button, and get back into work this week. The Cowboys rushed with a season high of 137 yards on the ground in Elliott's absence. Dallas broke off runs of 15, 18, and 22 yards. Enrico Dolly led the way with 12 carries for 75 yards. He caught 5 passes for another 32 and a touchdown. So Dolly has established himself as the team's lead back. Elliott's return indicates he understands he will be competing with the veteran Dalvin Cook behind Dolly for a role in his offense. And from there, he said, McCarthy was asked to elaborate on the decision involving Elliott, and he said, I'm not sure what you're asking, McCarthy said. What do you mean? Resolve it. So there's things to acquaintance there. So, he then said, I think the biggest thing with Zeke is it was a team discipline situation. Had a chance to sit down and talk about it on Friday. Then Saturday, it was a mutual decision for him to stay back. Then from there, he said, and I respect that. Elliott has rushed for just 149 yards this season on a career low average of 3.1 yards per carry. Despite the missed meetings, owner Jerry Jones went out of his way in the loss to the Falcons to call Elliott one of the best team's men. He's never ever been around. He's ever around. So I'm not disappointed in him, Jones said, of this episode that led to Elliott being left behind. I wish that I was all the blemishes I had on my background. This is an interesting news to note out, and there you have it. Why Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys moving forward following team discipline situation. So, that is one of the stuff that we have here in stuck for ourselves. So, right now here, Sports Illustrated celebrates Dodgers with 2024 World Series commemorative issue. So, The Los Angeles Dodgers are your 2024 World Series champions, defeating the New York Yankees in this year's Fall Classic in a thrilling 4-1 season win. To celebrate the Dodgers clinching their franchise 8th championship, Sports Illustrated printed an exclusive 2024 World Series commemorative issue. This issue takes an in-depth look at Ohtani's record-breaking 50-50 season, including full playoffs coverage from the series, and features a short act on the 3 previous Dodgers World Series victories over the Yankees. Fans can select one of these different covers featuring Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, or the Dodgers team. Alternatively, they can also pick the collector's bundle, which includes all 3 covers in their purchase. Each issue cost $15.99 plus $4 shipping and handling. For all you Dodgers fans out there, this is a must-have. So right now we have Gators quarterback DJ Lagway's leg injury, less significant. Return possible per coach Billy Napier. So, on Gainesville, Florida, quarterback DJ Lagway's leg injury is less significant than feared, paving the way for a potential return this season by the true freshman. Coach Billy Napier said an outside chance exists Lagway could return for this upcoming weekend's visit to number 5 Texas, despite suffering a soft tissue injury in his left leg during Saturday's second quarter of the Gators' 34-20 loss to number 2 Georgia. So, quoting here, soft tissue, those are the challenging ones. Napier said, the position he plays contributes to a possible return. We're going to exhaust every resource we have. So while UF's efforts likely will not be enough to get Lagway back into the field, the 19-year-old status will be official at 8:10 p.m. Wednesday when the SEC releases its first availability report of the week. Quoting here, it's going to be pretty clear cut once we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Napier said. We'll know. If Lagway is a native of Willis, Texas cannot return to play in his home state. Third-string walk-on quarterback Adian Warner will make his first career start. Warner replaced Lagway with a 5:10 remaining in the first half after he tried to cut upfield and his foot slipped as Georgia safety KG Boulder closed in. Lagway fell to the ground as he grabbed his left hamstring. Medical personnel soon carted him off the field, leading many to summarize he might be out for regular season's final 4 games. Quoting here, we did the MRI Saturday, got it back last night, Napier said Monday. So positive news on that front. Once Lagway is medically cleared, Napier will have a balance, the desire to play him against the potential to accelerate the injury. Hamstring injuries often recur if not fully healed. So, we've got to access to really smart people, very experienced people, and that's going to be the key, Napier said. The sports science piece is a huge element. We have metrics that can give the players confidence and allow us to make objective decisions. So Lagway's injury came 3 weeks after starter Graham Mertz tore his left ACL during the Gators' overtime loss October 12 at Tennessee's. Mertz watched Saturday events unfold while on crutches and wearing his number 15 jersey and a ball cap. At the time of his injury, Mertz ranked first in completion rate, 82.4%, and yards per attempt, 10.2 among SEC quarterbacks, while throwing for 5 touchdowns with just 1 interception. But Lagway gave the Gators another gear in the passing game, highlighted by 10 completions of at least 40 yards during 2 starts. The nation's number 1 quarterback prospect in 2024, Lagway led the Gators to a 48 20 win against Kentucky's October 19 in the Swamp, marking Florida's most point score under Napier in a SEC game. Lagway's big play dual threat abilities appear to give the Gators a chance to complete against a November schedule featuring 4 straight SEC games against top 25 teams. The Georgia loss left Napier 2-13 against ranked teams and 3-12 away from Gettysburg. Warner will prepare to face One Nation's blue blood programs on its home field. The 6'3", 206 pounds redshirt freshman is a former standout at Winters Park High, but chose to attend jails before deciding to return to Sunshine State and walk on the Gators program. Warner did not go through spring practice or summer OTAs. Quoting here, kind of proved himself during training camp, Napier said. Warner won the third string role behind Mertz and Lagway over Colorado State's transfers Clay Meelan and the Gators' third quarterback on scholarship. After Mertz's injury, Warner became Lagway's backup. Suddenly, Warner found himself facing number 2 Georgia winner of the 2021 and 2022 national titles. Quoting here, he stepped up tight end, Hayden Hansen said. I can't imagine what's going on through his head. Warner finished 7 of 22 passes for 66 yards while gaining 3 yards on 4 rushes. He led Florida to 10 points and a 20-20 tie, but threw an interception deep into UF's territory to set up Georgia's final score. Quoting here, the kid did good. As a good job as he could do, Napier said. There will be some plays that he would like to have back, but it's pretty big stage to trot out there in the middle of that one. I've been impressed with him. You know, this is an interesting stuff to note out here because, you know, Gators cute quarterback DJ Lagway's leg injury has been noted out as less than significant, and could return, said per coach Billy Napier. So moving on to other news here, we got some interesting news to note out on the MLB. MLB has been going great at this point in time when it comes to, you know, the Yankees, because I've been following their trajectory of who's staying, who's going, who's getting, you know, the new contract and all that. And there is reports, breaking news. For example, they're asking, everybody on social media is asking, should Glenn payday, you know, should the Yankees extend the $21 million qualifying offer to Gleyber Torres? That's a question that most of us are asking, and we need to get those answers. Should we actually? You know, I think Gley Torres is a great player, but, you know, we need to secure another possibility of a victory for next season. That's what we need to do. We can't just be sitting down like sitting ducks and not do anything. We gotta keep the players that matter. That's what we gotta do. You know, that's what matters at most at this point in time. And the Yankees seems to be doing something interesting with their lineup, with their roster. You know, one of the things that they have done so far is that the New York Yankees have extended a qualifying offer to Juan Soto at $21.05 million for 1 year. And for me, that's a home run for Juan Soto. So Juan Soto gets to stay on the Yankees. We were having this sort of conundrum, is he staying, is he leaving? What is up? What's going on? You know, those are the stuff that we need to ask ourselves before we continue trying to understand what is up with all the players at the Yankees. You know, after this pretty devastating loss that we had on the season, and letting the LA Dodgers win, because technically that's what happened. I feel like we left that game straight to the LA Dodgers. As a New York Yankees fan, I think that it was frustrating. It was really frustrating, to say the least. But we do have to keep our heads strong, because there's a possibility for next season. I think they're going to work harder. They're going to keep their stuff running and flowing as best as they can. Because the Yankees know what they need to do, and I know they're going to get their head in the game for next season. So another breaking news from the MLB world is that Gleyber Torres did not receive the qualifying offer from the Yankees, as reported by Jeff Payson. Gleyber Torres will not be receiving the qualifying offer. And it's getting a little hectic for the Yankees at this point in time, so we need to always keep our heads straight ahead. So, yesterday we had some football on the NFL. The football was running, and there was a few games happening. And one of the games that I was anticipating to watch was the New York Giants versus the Commanders. And unfortunately, sadly, New York Giants, they got destroyed. They got dominated by the Commanders. They gave a good game. So, I could summarize here that in a crucial Week 9 NFC East matchup with the Washington Commanders defeat the New York Giants 24-16. Quarterback Jaden Daniels and wide receiver Terry McLaurin shine in the victory, propelling the Commanders to a 7-2 record as they push for playoffs contention. Meanwhile, the Giants continue to face difficulties in the challenging seasons. Washington's offense surged in the second half, led by Daniel, orchestrating scoring drives. Daniel displayed poise and agility, solidifying his starting role after taking over earlier in the season. McLaurin contributed with 2 touchdowns, including crucial 18 yards reception in the fourth quarter. Running back Brian Robinson was unable to play in the game due to hamstring injury, which led to his absence from the lineup. Despite a late touchdown driven by the Giants, Washington held on for the win. Daniel Jones showed glimpses of his skill, but struggled in the red zone. The Commanders' balanced attack kept the Giants' defense on edge throughout the game. Daniels continues to impress with his composure and playmaking abilities, forming a strong connection with McLaurin looking ahead. The Commanders aim to build on their success in Week 10, while the Giants seek to regroup in a challenging season. Washington's victory positions them closer to securing a playoff berth, showcasing a competitive team in the NFC East. With a potent offense, the resilient defense, the Commanders prove they have a division contenders, while the Giants confront offense woes as they navigate a tough season. It was devastating to watch the game. I call it a show because it was just a show. We can't deny it. The Commanders slaughtered, in my opinion, the New York Giants. Sure, 27-22 is not bad. But hear me out. They struggled really badly to reach to that point. Just saying. Those are things to keep in mind when it comes to, understanding why do I say it was a slaughter. Sure, 27-22 doesn't seem like a bad lineup of scores, but they didn't reach to the potential that the New York Giants could have reached, just in my opinion. And it's devastating, to say the least, And I hope that the New York Giants can actually give us what we deserve as New York Giants fans. I'm not a New York Giants fan. I prefer the Jets. But we still need to understand that they have cool things to offer, cool things that matter. So, moving on with other types of news, on the NFL, we got, the Lion Brian Branch ejected for a controversial hit on Packers Bo Melton. So, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, during a heated matchup, Detroit Lions' Brian Branch faced potential ejection from the game after a controversial helmet-to-helmet collision with Green Bay Packers' Bo Melton. The collision sparked an outcry from fans and analysts alike. So Branch collided with Melton near the Packers sideline following Jordan Love's attempt to connect with him on a deep pass during the second quarter. Consequently, Branch incurred penalty for unnecessary roughness, leading to his ejection due to the severity of the hit. Browns was irate about being thrown out and was penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct for gesturing at fans in the Lambeau Field stands before he was escorted off the field and into the locker room. You gotta keep your sportsmanlike attitude on par on the games. You can't be being all aggressive. Sure, the NFL is all about tackling, pushing, throwing to the ground, and all that kind of stuff. But we need to always keep our sportsmanship on par with what the sport is about. You can't head to head. You can't do illegal moves. And most of these players, when they get too in their headspace, they do end up doing some illegal moves, like what this Brian Branch did from the Lions. And we can clearly see it on the replays. We can clearly see it on the pictures that were taken that night. And on other news, we got ourselves a victory from the Vikings. The Vikings have scored, and the Vikings staged second half comeback lead on SNF. So, it was in a game that has kept fans glued to their seats. The Minnesota Vikings showcased their resilience on Sunday Night Football, standing a comeback in the second half to take a lead over the opponents. The Vikings, now leading 14-7, have demonstrated why they are one of the NFL's most dynamic teams this season. The game began with the Vikings trailing, but the second half told a different story, with key plays that had fans cheering. The Vikings managed to turn the tie in their favor. The comeback was not just a testament to their offensive prowess, but also their defense adjustments that stiffed their opponents' momentum. The victory is crucial for the Vikings as they aim to solidify their position in the NFC standing. The game has been marked by thrilling moments with crucial catches and strategic plays that exemplify the spirit of NFL football. As the clock ticks down, all eyes remain on the Vikings, who are now in a prime position to claim another victory in what has been a roller coaster of a game. Stay tuned for more updates as this electrifying Sunday football match unfolds. So we have ourselves great things to continue with the Vikings. It was 13-21 in favor of the Vikings. That was a really intense game, and I hope that we can keep going with this momentum. We're soon to get ourselves ahead with the Super Bowl, and I really want to see who are the two contenders for the Super Bowl. Now those are going to be high stakes, and we're going to have lots of good things to acquaintance when it comes to the Super Bowl this year. I don't know what you guys are expecting. I don't know what's up and what's running with the lineups right now. But I do think that we need to always have our head in the game. So moving on to other stories, other stuff around here, we have ourselves a little bit of more disappointment on the Colts, and man, the game was just a big disappointment. So, the Indianapolis Colts offense reaches new low in disappointing game. So, in a night that fans of Indianapolis Colts would rather forget, the team's offense hit rock bottom in several key areas during their last game. So, let's analyze this key points here. So, low scoring output. The Colts managed only 6 points, marking their lowest score this season. The red zone absence, perhaps this complete absence in the red zone was even more telling. The team failed to drive with the 20-yard line even once. A stark contrast to their usual game strategy. And then after that, we got a dismal first down. The offense was barely able to move the chains, securing just 13 first downs, the lowest count they have seen all year. Then we have anemic yardage. We have a total offense was equally disappointing, with the teams accumulating a mere 227 yards of offense, underscoring a night where nothing seemed to work as planned. That is completely devastating, to say the least, So we got then negative EPA, statistically, the performance was quantified by an expected points added EPA per play of negative 0.35, indicating that on average, each play by the Colts offense subtracted value from their expected score, the lowest EPA play they've scored and recorded this season. The recent game brought to light the challenges faced by the Colts offense, raising concerns about the team's strategic approach. Fans and analysts are eager to find some insight from the coaching staff and management to revamp this stagnant offense tactics. With upcoming matches on the horizon, the Colts must quickly regroup and address the flaws in their game's play. The pressure is mounting for the teams to make necessary adjustments and reignite the missing spark in their offensive performance. And then from there, if you want to keep yourself aware from the latest updates, please download the iOS and Android radio station of Galactic Radio, scoring the headlines that matter. And now you're listening with power to the music. So, let's continue with the news around here, because we still got lots of things to get ourselves acquaintance with, And one thing I wanted to mention, that for the baseball world, this might be an interesting thing, women's pro baseball, a new era of talent on the field. So, although the hardball pipeline faces constraints in its players, organizers state that there is a significant roster of players ready to make their debut in the Women's Pro Baseball League by 2026. So we do have to get that thing acquaintance as much as possible. And, What is this all about? 7 decades ago, women did in fact had a league in the USA. It's time for women to do a comeback and showcase what they are capable of. However, organizers have announced that by summer of 2026, there will be in fact a Women's Pro Baseball League, WPBL. It's expected to debut with 6 teams comprised of women's in caps and cleats. Competing in the demons have been used almost exclusively by men for nearly half a century. So women in sports have undeniably received significant attention in their past decade, particularly in areas such as women's basketball, the WNBA, and women's soccer. This increased visibility has played a crucial role in enhancing the appeal of women's sports. Justin Siegel, the co-founder of the WPBL, recently shared with NBC News the impact of this trend. Quoting here, "This is definitely a great time for women's sports and pro sports, as men and others have finally figured out how great women are as athletes," said Siegel, who was the first woman to coach a Major League Baseball team when she joined the Auckland's Athletes Organizations in 2015, and now runs Baseball for All, a non-profit organization that promotes baseball for girls. Quoting here, "So it's just great time to showcase our baseball players," said Siegel. So I'm really excited for women to have their own pro baseball league. Sure, they do have the softball, but it's about time women had a chance with the hardball. There's already 6 teams to debut by 2026 on summer. So if you're willing to get yourself acquainted with that, that's a great idea. I love the women's NBA. I love all these women that participate in sports that usually are dominated by men. So, I don't want to get too political at this point in time, but we do have to get ourselves acquaintance with some politics here. It's been noted. I've said this previously, but I want to reiterate again because tomorrow is election day, November 5 of 2024. For those of you that have been keeping up with the news, LeBron James endorses Kamala Harris for 2024 election. I've said this in a previous episode of my show here, but I do want to mention it again. So LeBron James expressed his endorsement for Kamala Harris in upcoming presidential election scheduled for next week, voicing his support for her candidacy. The choice is clear, LeBron James said. The renowned NBA player for the Los Angeles Lakers and lead actor in Space Jam's New Legacy, age 39, actively supported the campaign of Joe Biden's during the 2020 president election. In a post on his ex-Twitter account, James wrote, "What are we talking about here? When I think about my kids and my family and how they will grow up, the choice is clear to me. Vote Kamala Harris." And then, in 2020, the Republican candidate Donald Trump disparaged James following his support for Biden, ex-president his disapproval. Trump made critical remarks towards James, highlighting their opposing political affiliations. "Felt badly for LeBron," Donald Trump said. He secured his fourth NBA championship victory, a notable achievement considering the significant drop in viewership during the finals. He added, "I didn't watch one shot. I get bored." The crowd then erupted into chants of LeBron James sucks, to which Trump responded, "What a crowd." James said that he had no interest in social media war with the then president. Quoting here, "I don't go back and forth with anyone, and I damn sure won't go back and forth with that guy," he told New York Times. Kamala Harris' endorsement by LeBron James emphasizes her achievement and progressive values, resonating with diverse voters as the first female, Black, and South Asian American vice president. She focuses on social justice, healthcare, and economic equity. Her Senate and AG background preparates her for policy challenges, showcasing public support for her ability to drive change and diverse leadership representation. So we do have to get ourselves acquainted with what's right. Vote for whoever you want to vote. But I do want to tell you this. Vote for the one that goes in favor of you, not the one that works for the few. Just saying. Just saying. Keep that in mind and you'll be able to vote as good as you want. So, these are probably the headlines that I have so far. If you want to keep yourself acquainted and running with some more news and some more updates, don't forget to download the iOS and Android radio station of Galactic Terror Radio, and also follow me on Newsbreak as Galactic Terror Radio, scoring the headlines that matter, because I need to reach 100 followers. Please help me reach 100 followers on Newsbreak. I'll be glad to appreciate that, where you're going to get all the written news on my online newspaper there. We're all about sports, MLB, NBA, NFL, and so on and so forth. And esports are going to be included too. Esports are one of my biggest things that I follow. I love the Tetris Classic Championships. So we got to get ourselves acquainted with all sorts of sports. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being awesome. I'm Adam Van Zark, and this is your safe space to come in and score the headlines that matter. Now, you're listening with power. And remember, with unity, we can conquer the world. I'll catch you on the flip side. Adios, amigos. Bye. Sayonara. Bye.